welcome once again to Full Screen Podcast. I'm your host, Kira Aster, and joining me today, as always, recording the standing ovation times at Cannes Film Festival. It's Raven Ebert! How are you, Raven?
I do not get what the big deal is about the standing ovation times because on average it's supposed to be 7 minutes. So if you do 4.5 minutes, it's
Throw
like
it in
some
the
sort
garbage.
And I just we don't have the time and energy for just applauding this, sweetie. Like, we have other things to do.
When I see 13 minutes, I'm like, guys.
I've never applauded for anything for 13 minutes.
I'm gonna pause here and completely switch gears and tell the people, Raven here is injured, but she did not cancel this podcast.
I am stunning and brave.
Yes.
I am so stunning and brave. I am a strong female woman of color. Just, yeah.
We are a rare breed, female podcasters.
We're a rare breed. I am amped up on a lot of medication right now, so I'm having a lot of lucidity and a lot of thoughts and a lot of clarity on some others. And I just have to say, the only bundle I care about right now is the acetaminophen and ibuprofen. Shout outs to that. Shout outs to antibiotics.
Me and the people, thank you for your service. You are indeed stunning and brave, Raven, and we wish you a speedy recovery. This awful list came out. Well, what are your thoughts? So the Hollywood Reporter came out with the new Hollywood list, the top 10 new young stars of Hollywood, and most of the names are expected. Zendaya, Florence Pugh, Jacob Elordi, Jenna Ortega. 2 names, I will say, are controversial. Glenn Powell and Austin Butler.
I would really like to push back on this fucking narrative about youth and youngness. Why can we not reframe this as just new talent to be seen?
Glenn Powell, Twitter was like, where did Glenn come from? He's in everything now. Bitch, he's been here. Spy Kids. He's been working hard.
He has been, but I think he's been impaired with douche face for a very long time, and I think he's grown into it now, so shout out to the brave survivors of douche face. I think, again, it's just this idea of framing it as young equals new, which is kind of bullshit. I always delight in you, personally, Kira, going through all of the CW crap that I grew up on, only to come back randomly and tell me that you have found Amy Adams in something. And I'm like, bitch, I know. Bitch, I know. She has been in everything.
2 minutes. And I'm like, oh, Amy, our night bitch. She's gonna get an Oscar for that. Let's go.
I'm frothing at the mouth for that. I'm working on my night bitch for her. But yeah, when you're like, she's in Buffy, she's in Smallville, and I was like, these people put in the work.
Let's give the people more of your opinions and tell them about the social meds.
Well, I was on heavy painkillers, so the doctors told me to stay off of Twitter. And my mental health improved after that. Whoops. But if you do want to engage with me and my mental illness on Twitter and on Instagram, you can find us at Full Screen Pod. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Full Screen Podcast, where we upload our episodes. You can also reach out to us at fullyscreened@gmail.com. Send us episode ideas, suggestions, comments, questions if you want us to address them, and if we're in the mood, we'll take a look at what you're sending us and work on that, because streaming is evolving, or in this case, today's case, it may be devolving into something else. So,
as you hinted, today's topic: streaming bundles. Are we back in the era of cable? So recently, Comcast announced a Stream Saver, this is literally what it's called, bundle with Netflix, Apple TV, and Peacock. And this was days after our man Zaslav announced a Disney Plus, Hulu, and Max bundle in, I believe, an earnings call. Media companies are looking to bolster their streaming platforms by bundling with rival providers. I still can't wrap my head around Bob Iger and Zaslav working together. And this strategy obviously comes at a time when streamers are continuing to increase subscriber fees, sell ads, reduce churn, and become profitable, because none of these services, guys, except now Netflix, is profitable. So today, let's talk about this. The status of bundles. Is the dream of streaming dead? Literally, that was the title of an article. Or is this course correcting and the right path for the future of streaming? Let's discuss.
We're kicking things off with all hands. And I gotta imagine it's an awkward all hands when you tell people, hey guys, so remember our competition? Yeah, guess what? We're going to get so cozy with them that we're going to be offering our product in addition to their product, which is really weird and crazy. Like, you don't see Coke and Pepsi bundling together. Like, they're the same product. Why would you have, two of them? But this is
the same product? You were in Atlanta. Show some shame.
Things haven't been the same since they took the coca leaves out of the formula,
It's true. It's true.
In 1910, which was probably the last time the US had, robust antitrust laws. Ooh. Anyway.
With the robust drugs, yum yum.
I know. We had antitrust, we had heroin and the cough syrup. Like, life was good then. I mean, women
Sherlock
couldn't
Holmes
vote.
was just doing cocaine openly in his books, and I'm like, yo,
that's good. He was the least annoying person on cocaine, I'll tell you that much. But speaking of decisions made on drugs, streaming services have now decided to take the age-old adage of, if you can't beat them, join them. And there has been some sort of strategic dividing of alliances within the streaming landscape, very akin to the War of Roses, or if you don't like history or like it with a little bit more of doggy style sex, it's like Game of Thrones. We have different alliances forming across the streaming landscape. So let's talk about a few of these alliances. The first one I would like to call the Big Tech Alliance. This is Netflix, Apple TV Plus, and Peacock. Now, at first glance, you will be like, one of these things is not like the others. If you've seen that insanely great meme of the three-headed dragon, of where two of the dragon heads look fierce and great, and the third one is just, hey, I'm a goofball and I'm here, you would think what is Peacock doing here? Well, forget not that Peacock is the sub bitch of Dom Daddy Comcast. And Dom Daddy Comcast owns the tubes with which your internet comes to you from.
Yeah.
So in the early days of being Netflix subscribers, and where Comcast was pretty much everybody's internet provider, a lot of people used to say, hey, I've noticed my speeds are getting throttled when I'm watching Netflix. And Comcast was like, yeah, we're doing that. What are you going to do about it? Fast forward to now, where they have actually announced this alliance that is for $15 a month. So if you are already subscribed to Comcast for your internet, I believe, you will get the package that includes Peacock Premium, Netflix Basic, and Apple TV. So both Peacock and Netflix will come to you with ads. Apple TV Plus does not include ads anyway. There is no basic version of that, but I'm sure if there was, that's also what it would have been downgraded to. And this very much seems like people who want to continue using streaming, and they have not that much of an interest in legacy TV shows except for what is available on the Peacock streaming service.
True.
The tech aspect of it all, again, they can watch all of these things with the crystal clear connection that Comcast provides. And because you're only paying $15 a month, you will be dissuaded from committing self-harm when you are on the phone with Comcast's, let's say for legal purposes, it's called tech support line, but really it's just a way to receive free abuse. I
Oh,
I
gosh.
really, because like if we're breaking this down,
That
the
is significantly cheaper because isn't Netflix alone like 15, 16?
well, Netflix basic with ads is like $7 a month.
But I mean,
It's $6.99 a
okay.
month, Netflix basic. Peacock Premium is $5.99, and it's going up to $7.99 a month in July, which is the ad supported. And the
Okay.
standard Apple TV Plus plan is $9.99 a month. It
Oh,
is,
that went up.
yeah,
I remember the day is $4.99.
it's not the cheapest anymore. And monetarily, yeah, it's a good deal. You have to pay $15 extra for the package. And people who are still using cable right now, they're paying for cable right now. I don't know if the Bright Horizon Senior Daycare Center in Tampa, Florida wants people to really get into Orange is the New Black when they're on their 5th round of Lipitor and antipsychotic meds.
You never
So,
know. You know, humans are complex. I will say, so I guess if a center like that does have cable and they're paying for extra services, might be helpful to cancel all of them and just do the add-on to the cable service. I see where they're going. However, to your point, I just don't get why these three. I mean, we'll speculate. And I think with Peacock, it's interesting because they come with the universal backlog. They come with NBC.
yeah, I think the Netflix Apple combination makes complete sense. Apple has a hardware component, so if you buy a new computer, you get this thing thrown on for 6 months for free. That's a great way to get people going.
Yeah.
My issue again over here is that what's being provided is the ad tier ones, and
Yeah.
there isn't a separate one for without ads. From the press and the details provided, it seems like the ad tier is the only add-on, which they may see as a way to read metrics and see if they want to go to the non-ad tier or not.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a measure of success for a lot of things, including the next bundle that I want to talk about, which is what I call the IP fister. You're just
This
getting
one makes
fisted by intellectual property. What can I say? I'm feeling a little fruity, but this is the Disney, Hulu, and HBO Max, I would say, Warner Brothers Discovery. So again, Disney, Hulu, I think already I don't necessarily see as very separate entities, even though I know they're separate streaming services.
Well, Hulu is in Disney Plus now, right? Like
yes, it is. It is already in a bundle with ESPN. That's like I would say that's the parent company bundle. It's like when you're getting Pepsi and Mountain Dew and Madam Web all together because they're all owned by the same person.
A delicious brew.
A delicious brew indeed. But this is, I think, where this goes down to basically the Max streaming service, the Disney Plus streaming service, and Hulu streaming services together. It was announced on the 8th of May, but there's been no launch date announced. And I'm really thinking it's because they want to see how that other bundle goes, to see if there's interest in it, but also if there's a lack of people signing up. So it's going to be available for purchase through either Disney or Hulu or Max. So you can go through all of them. And it is going to be offered as both ad-supported and ad-free. So you can get that really luxurious package of all three. And if you are the type of person who refuses to watch anything unless it has been already made before or based on existing property, have I got good news for you, because you can masturbate to Captain America and Superman together at the low price of whatever they eventually announce, because it's going to be very affordable, guys. Something that a price point is that's going to be come up with by Bob Iger and David Zaslav, like two just regular Jabroskis, like salt of the earth dudes.
The highest paid executives.
No. They've got a good head on their shoulders. Everybody's lazy and needs to pick themselves by the bootstraps and pay for this premium bundle. I think Max offers the additional bonus of like a lot of those Turner Classic movies being available to stream. I think that the bigger splash to be made, and I'm using these words deliberately, is probably going to be that Disney Warner Brothers Discovery, because of the sheer amount of IP that it contains, and it's also fueled by people who can afford to spend more money on theatrical releases that eventually go to streaming, which is what I feel like the allure of watching movies on streaming is for.
This is really actually so Hulu takes care of the, like the edgy shows and takes care of like what is, has aired on like network TV, linear TV, and
Hulu and Max. Yeah.
And then
from the HBO side, I should say. From the HBO side, yeah.
HBO comes with the Warner Brothers catalog, which is like the classics, right? And then Disney finishes this with like, we got the families. We got,
yes.
You want the families, you want the kids, we got it,
Yeah. It's very powerful. You have the Disney Channel, you have Disney Animation, you have Cartoon Network from Warner Brothers Discovery. That's the family side of things. IP, you have Marvel and you have DC from each of them. Prestige Television, you have Hulu and HBO content. Maybe hacks from the Max side. Things like that.
A little too powerful.
These are sort of the big ones at the buffet table. Let's go to the side dishes. Let's talk about some of the accoutrements.
Let's talk about the other bundles really quickly. So this one is not new, but I do want to give it a shout out because it was one of the first ones. So AMC, Shudder, Acorn TV, and Sundance Now make up AMC Plus, and we've talked about this together and separately in multiple episodes. For this one, I just want to open with, on a beautiful, chilly March morning, I woke up to an email that I thought was spam. And the email was about the, I believe it is called the AMC VPPA settlement. So there is a class action lawsuit, basically, that happened. Southern District of New York sued AMC and all its services because from 2012 to 2024 they had been illegally sharing user data with their ad partners and third-party vendors. The settlement is for $8.3 million.
Just enter into a legal contract with the government of the United States to sell people's data. I promise you that is just as lucrative.
Literally, what they did wrong was not show like that 30-page document to the user and just have them click agree. So they just didn't inform the user.
So
they're not Apple.
This is why you need to do better dark UX. Like, come see me for unethical user experience patterns.
All of these services combined with AMC Plus also have separate apps, which are pretty expensive. So Acorn TV, just one type of membership, which I believe is with ads, it's $7.99, Shudder is $5.99, and Sundance is $6.99 per month. And altogether with AMC Plus, with ads is $4.99, and without ads is $8.99. So AMC was one of the first ones to like really bundle its services. Acquisitions of these individual services with AMC happened as early as 2012 when it started I think Sundance was the first acquisition by AMC, and then incubators like Shudder. So Shudder came out of like AMC Labs, as I like to call it, came out of a big service. It wasn't an acquisition. And then just generally, like, right, like, why are they combining? I'm really surprised that they're leaving the individual apps still live, because they could decommission them and still really retain their user base, lower the cost of maintaining these
and you
separate
know they're
apps.
going to tell the users that these apps have been decommissioned in the most classy, well-informed way. Where it just,
Yeah.
what is the next bundle? What is this bundle?
Well, this one has existed for a little bit, and I have to say still confuses me. So this is Paramount Showtime, and this was during when Yellow Jackets was exploding, season 2, and I saw that Showtime Anytime just decommissioned, and now Showtime is a tab on Paramount, like the last tab on a pretty shitty app, Paramount Plus. And when you Google this, by the way, I just want to shout out one of the top 3 searches is the Reddit post, which says, title, quote, "Why is Showtime being shut down and merged when Paramount Plus is the buggy, glitchy, slow, and lackluster one? Question mark, question mark, question mark," end quote. And then I think the replies range from epitome of corporate greed to Showtime gave up the battle. $11.99, and I believe with ads. I canceled it, guys. When Yellow Jackets was over, I was like, I got nothing here. I got nothing.
Just buy the season on, Amazon or Google Play or iTunes. Truly.
All right, so let's get to the next bundle, which I cannot wait to do this in depth when this comes. So it's a sports streaming service called Venu without an E. So VENU.
That's Venu. That's Venu. That's not. Oh, God.
Wait. It gets better and better. So this one is a partnership by Fox. Warner Brothers Discovery is involved here. Disney's involved here. So surprise, surprise. So this is the sports streaming service, and it will have live sports, football, basketball, even F1 racing. Having a streaming service, living in the streaming era, it's been really hard to watch live events, and watch sports events. Literally no streaming service until this year has cared about sports, and there is so much money in it. I don't know what they've been doing. Greatest thing I just want to wrap up with, so zoom in on our outline, Raven, because I have a screenshot here.
Oh, I'm looking at it right now. I'm feeling myself die slowly on the inside, but yeah.
So, Venu.com, you please.
It's Venu, like it's Venu.
I urge people to go on the website, and it says in the worst font that I've ever seen, with the worst UX you could ever come up with. Do you remember Dreamweaver? Back in the day, where you could design your GeoCities websites.
No, this is somebody used Dreamweaver to create a website for the Department of Homeland Security.
Yes. Okay, so it just says in the biggest font possible, the new home for, and then it has like the interchanging sports, like MMA, Formula 1, just like sliding with a background of red, coming fall 24. And then in the smallest font possible, it says 2 things: watch the biggest games and sporting events, and right under it says launch is conditional on receiving regulatory approval and is expected for fall 2024. This site is owned and operated by a subsidiary of Fox Corporation. Period.
Doesn't this remind you of like packaging for like conditioner for men, where it's like black, white, and red, so that your heterosexual masculinity is not threatened by the fact that you're using products? And then underneath it, in more delicate font, is the list of all the carcinogens that they're using to make your hair softer. That's the vibe I'm getting from this. And I think, again, like with streaming, they were like, only ugly nerds and mole people want to stay at home and watch TV. Like sports people, they're like, young and hot and they don't want to stay at home. They want to go to sports bars. They want streaming services as well for that. Remove these stigmas, guys. Let the jocks have their services.
Welcome to Missed Objectives and Key Results, my favorite section. Today, in this section, Cable was right? Question mark. Raven, yesterday and the day before, I read so much about the history of cable, the history of television, how it came about. The first cable television system in the United States was created in 1948 by John Walson in Mahoney City, Pennsylvania. This is now a history podcast. Obviously, from like 1948 to like flash forward to early 2000s, SVOD platforms began to emerge, and they were like, you know what? Fuck you, cable. We are tech bros, and we can close down your bodegas and put vending machines in your pre-war buildings instead. So, suck on that, New York. Said a San Francisco bro.
Hold on. I really don't think that was
hold on.
Two people from fucking Alameda could come up with something like, we're gonna put vending machines and call them bodegas. Because
you gotta go talk to your bodega uncle who calls you Habibi and play with his cat. So back to this. So why are streamers doing this, right? Let's actually think
money. They're doing it for money.
Literally.
I don't want to take a shit on your parade, but they're doing it for money.
Let's wrap it up. That's it. They're doing it for money. But some highlights, if this were a presentation, what would you put other than money on a slide, right? So convenience and simplicity. Pay bundles simplify the subscription process for users by offering a single package that includes multiple services. Again, I will say who fucked up the system? The streamers in the first place. So, they're just course correcting. Again, cost savings is another reason. So bundles offer cost savings to users compared to subscribing to watch each service individually. Again, it goes back to who did this in the first place? These streamers. One of the biggest things, which I haven't seen being talked about, which, outside of, Raven and I, the biggest thing is the content aggregation. And this content aggregation is the piece that like kind of goes to the other pieces I'm going to talk about. So Disney with HBO, for example, they're getting their content, they're combining the power of their backlogs together to get different types of users and have these different types of users, these different types of personas stay on this one bundle service longer to make it profitable. And that's what it goes to.
The synergy is wild. I'm hearing Jack Donaghy.
I will say all these individual services have struggled with the retention aspect. So you'll go in, right? Like we're all smart. We all go in and sign up for a specific time, and then when that show is over, we're out, right?
Smells like a bitch cut off Max from her roster, huh?
It's been 4 months. It's amazing. Living the clean life. Detox. So with the power of all these streamers combined, like when one show is over, you always have something in the backlog to watch, so you're never, there's no churn, especially for services that don't have a movie studio or a robust backlog like Netflix. Netflix is very new. They're acquiring content, but it's all new content. They don't have power of Warner Brothers or the power of Sony or the power of Universal behind them. And then customization and personalization is another, right? Like you can personalize based on like ads or no ads in the case of certain bundles, or in the future we'll see like only out of like 4 services that are combined, getting 2 services out of these 4 in a bundle, in a lighter bundle, cheaper bundle. What does that remind you of? Fucking cable! Another big thing is like partnering with your rivals You know, if you can't beat them, join them. As Raven, you mentioned earlier, it's just the competitive advantage. When you close ranks, it's more likely that you see some profit, share some of the goods that are coming your way from the users. By the way, I've been told calling them users kind of makes you think about like their drug users, like they're using something. So I like to call them customers, but in this case, I will not correct myself.
No, bitch, it's
They're
users.
users.
They're injecting content straight into their veins. It's all about consumption and it's not about the art. That's right, Martin Scorsese. Get fucked.
By the way, Francesca, just doing God's work. Just
I know you shamed me for my lack of Atlanta respect, so let me come back to you with this. Do you remember, as students of the prestigious alumnus of Georgia Institute of Technology, we were the only Papa John's in the country to serve Coca-Cola because our campus had a Coca-Cola deal. And Papa John's was like, well, we gotta have these broke campus bitches money for our terrible pizza. But they usually sell it with Pepsi. But the idea of, again, you're a pizza company, you do a partnership with a drink company, that totally makes sense. Streamers, it's like, oh, we're kind of selling the same thing, right? How do we package it up? But I think that's where your personalization idea comes in, right? It's like, what streaming services provides things we don't?
So everything adds to each other, right? So content aggregation leads to personalization and customization, better competitive advantage, more user retention and loyalty, and again, improved discoverability, right? Like you get more robust backlog, a better search and discoverability functionality, having, one-stop shop for everything. So the week's article, theweek.com's article from this week, are streaming bundles reinventing cable TV, kind of argues, not convincingly, the other side of it. Quote by Jacob Stern of The Atlantic: "It's not cable, but it's not cable either," whatever that means. But Oliver Darcy from CNN says, quote, "Something is missing though. Joined together, the streaming services are inching closer and closer to resembling the entertainment behemoths of yesteryear, but they have shown little to no interest in investing in either live news or pre-taped programming, and that's not good news for society. Rebuilding the traditional cable package without news is akin to putting together a meal that includes steak, potatoes, and ice cream, but not the broccoli." End quote. I will end with this quote from The Hollywood Reporter by Jason Cohen. Quote, "Some people say that this sounds like cable, but the people who say that probably haven't had cable in 6-7 years and don't realize how expensive cable has gotten."
Yeah, cable is expensive. Us broke boys gotta look out for each other. So I think if we're talking about the implications of what this is going to do, with bundling being announced, I feel this is not a bold statement, but to put it plainly, anyone born in this century is not gonna give a flying fuck. Like, I really do mean that, because people who are below a certain age, their idea of entertainment and what they consume is so vastly different from what we understand to be entertainment as well. Like, the idea of even seeing or consuming scripted comedy is completely gone from them. And we were just talking about it.
That's the
like,
saddest thing I've heard, though. Like, Jonathan Haidt and Dr. Becky are like dying in their podcaster chairs right now.
Oh, that is also there, very much there. But that is the spectrum through which things are consumed right now. It is a mixture of news and entertainment. I think, again, we talked about how the streaming bundles don't include news. That's because news is derived from social media, from Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch. So,
Wait,
and none of these bundles have any of that involved in them. for
And
now.
I just want to tell you that Trump is on the verge of re-election while we watch this reactive content. Continue.
Oh
It's
yeah,
fucking bullshit. Is what I'm
that's
saying.
again where someone from CNN being like, news is not included. I'm like, yeah. This is all for the play of people who are eventually not going to be the ones with the maximum purchasing power anymore. So I really don't see this being very sustainable for beyond like a couple of years, because they realize they're not gonna get any new people, especially younger people
You
who
don't see
are
bundles
no,
sustainable.
I don't. Because new
a hot
people
take.
entering the market like as purchasing powers, I mean, this is going to
so
be
you don't see a world where YouTube and Twitch and TikTok, you know, if it's still legal in like 2 years, form a bundle.
no, there's going to be a different kind of bundle where quote unquote old media and quote unquote new media come together. Like the idea, again, Twitch is owned by Amazon, so it's not hard to imagine that with the Prime membership you have access to Twitch and you have access to all of the information and backlog of what's in the Amazon and MGM library. You start cutting a check for people on Twitch to sit and create react content to Amazon Prime movies or Amazon Prime shows. Your favorite video game streamer is now going to do a just chatting stream on Twitch watching Fallout season 15. You'll tune in for that. I think that would have been the way to go, but these kind of bundling, it's like, no. People are not centering around content like that anymore, where it generates conversation.
Yeah.
Listen.
But to me, what you're saying is like a reaction content.
But again, to my point about that quality, again, it's like it's so concerned about keeping people in. And there is so much more to contend with. I think people are also just not finding the enrichment that entertainment naturally gives. People are gravitating towards independent cinema now. They're making a huge deal out of watching a movie like Challengers, which, quite frankly speaking, when you describe what it is to somebody who's still asking, what's it about to a movie?
Raven,
it's like,
I don't think they are. Challengers is not that big out of cinephiles. People didn't go see it and it didn't resonate a lot.
No, those are the
general
people
audience
that go ahead and consume media. The people who don't care about Challengers don't care about Bridgerton season 3 either. These are people who just do not care about consuming media at all. They're looking at other stuff.
No, I think these are the people that are watching whatever new schlock of J-Lo that came out on Netflix while doing their laundry, increasing its views, but they're not going out of their houses to go see Challengers. So my thing is, I say streaming bundles, we'll see more of them, and they'll be sustainable, and there is a world that there's only 3 services, and one is Amazon MGM conglomerate. So whoever goes to Amazon's way, they have the backlog of MGM, they have the power of the big tech name. The other one is the Disney, HBO, Warner Brothers, and Disney bundle. And the third one remains the Netflix, Peacock, Apple. These 3 services, I don't think will combine with each other. So there's a world only these 3 services exist, and we'll see where it goes from there. But I do see...
It all comes down to a lot of minutia. What the price point is. Do they allow for password sharing?
Yeah.
And again, this is only a concern in the United States, because people in other geographic locations they're all just using one service, and it's been profitable for them the entire time. Like, everybody is just using Netflix in like Europe and Asia because there is no Paramount Plus, there is no Disney Plus, there is no Hulu, there is no Max. So it's working out for them, and they don't give a shit. Yeah. So I really, again, for 300 million users, it's not worth it in the long run. I don't think it's gonna give them any real sustainable profits. I'm calling it. It's like 3 years at the most. It's gonna be gone by the next presidential election.
You heard it here first. Raven saying they won't last, and I'm saying they will last, and we'll see more of them.
I am a very negative bitch anyway, and I know
Who
that we
loves
have a
reaction
time
content,
constraint.
apparently.
I do. I love reaction content.
All right, let's wrap that up here. For next time, we're talking more about corporate greed. It's our corporate corner, which I've been loving, actually. These are profiles of streaming leaders, and one that we've been keeping an eye on, the new CEO of Tubi, Anjali Sood, formerly the CEO of Vimeo. Tubi has skyrocketed under
Oh
her
my
leadership,
God.
at least in marketing.
The Tubi originals are art. Martin Scorsese, we are back again. Like, this is cinema. Come on.
All right, that's it for today, folks. Bye!
Bye, everyone.